Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, I collect American currency. Big surprise, I live in America. That's what I collect, that's what I have available to me. However, every country has their own currency. And even though trying to collect world currency can be an extremely daunting challenge, um, it can still be fulfilling as well. There's a lot of interesting designs, a lot of different countries, and of course, every country has different years and possibly different empires and stuff like that. When you start diving into foreign currency, it's an endless expanse of notes to collect. So I decided that if I'm going to do anything with foreign currency, I'm going to just stick my toe in the water and see what happens. And the easiest way for me to do that was to look around and, well, what are the closest countries to America? Well, obviously, I live in Wisconsin, so Canada is the closest country that I can possibly get to. Now, I could have went to a bank and just exchanged U.S. currency for Canadian currency, but I think there are minimums involved there as well, and it may not be the most exciting way to collect foreign currency. But I did have a channel from Canada reach out to me and wanted to do a trade for some notes. And if you wanted to start doing foreign currency, that's what I'd suggest. I'd suggest hooking up with someone from another country, like I did, and that way you guys can ship packages back and forth to each other, and you never know what kind of neat stuff is going to be in there. It's always fun to get something in the mail, knowing it's from another country. So yeah, when you're thinking about doing foreign currency, I would really suggest teaming up with another fellow YouTuber like I did, and I'll get to that a little bit later. All right, got my 1,000 in singles. I'm going to get those out of the way, and let's take a look at what I found this week. I got lots of goodies. Okay, I got a couple 2017s, which were in nicer shape, and I just wanted to check those against the stuff in my box just to make sure. In my binder, I should say. I did have a counter stamp note. This one was Nicollet National Bank. So I found that. I just thought I'd pull it because not very often do I see counter stamps that I can fully read. What do we got here? Birthday note. This would be from March 7th, 1917, or the 3rd of July, 1917. Another birthday note, 1960, June 29th. Another birthday note, 2021. That would be September 16th. Then we've got some trinaries, 3s, 4s, and 5s, 3s, 5s, and 7s, 1s, 4s, and 6s. And yes, I'm checking these and double checking these after finding all that neat stuff when I did my box clean out there. Another trinary, 0s, 6s, and 7s, 2s, 4s, and 6s. And quads, quad 2s on this one with a 5th, quad 7s, and some stars. A little bit of an overprint on the 8 there. Wishing the overprint was on the star itself. That would be a filled-in star if that was the case. 2017 star note there. Here's another 2017 star. It has the classic wet ink transfer. You see that on a lot of new bills nowadays. They're just slightly over inking the bills, and when the bills land on top of each other, that's when you get that over inking transfer. Another 2017. Another 2017. 2013B, that's a New York note. That one is potentially one of the duplicated notes, but based on the serial number, I think that's a little too high. But I will double check it anyway. This is a lower one, so this is probably one of the duplicated ones. And when I say duplicated notes, what I'm referring to is down here on the bottom. You can see the FW here. That means this particular note was printed in Fort Worth. If it doesn't have that FW, if it just has B106, that would be a Washington, D.C. note. And the problem is they told both Washington, D.C. and Fort Worth to print star notes, but didn't tell them where to start. So they both started at the same number. So you actually have a number of notes that the only difference is the FW. The serial number would be completely the same. So those are what people are looking for. There's another B note right there, and another. Here's an example. The B series 2013, and if you look, it does not have the FW. So this is a Washington, D.C. note, and it's a lower number, so I have the feeling this might be one of the double printed notes. Um, but yeah, Washington, D.C. versus Fort Worth right there. All right, and then we've got some more 2013 stars. And this is dirt. It's not any kind of overprint. That's just dirt. All right. 2006. So that's an old star note. You don't see very many old ones. And it starts off with a bunch of zeros. And normally we talk about digits that are raised, and it looks like the first digit here is low. So that's kind of interesting. Not that I'm going to save it because it's low. I'm going to save it because it is a it's a star note, and it's a pretty good star note too, starting with 3 zeros. But yeah, that first zero looks like it's a little bit low. Then I get to some of my older notes. This is a 2003A. Normally I don't save stuff that old, or that new I should say, but this one was in pretty good shape, so I just want to check it with my book. Then we get to 2001. These are the ones that I'm used to saving because, well, they're 20 years old. Let's see, 2001, another 2001, not in the greatest of shape. 1999, another 99, another 99, 99 in much better shape with decent paper quality, another 99, 1995. I love seeing the I notes because you just don't see a whole lot of those. Those are notoriously short printed notes. 88A. This is the first year of web notes, so you're checking over here. You can see this giant F that's right there. That designates the section of the sheet that this note came from. And a web note was on a roll of paper. There was no sheet, so it wouldn't have anything here other than a plate number. Also, you can look over here. You can see F2, that was the exact position on the sheet. Once again, on a web note, there is no exact position because it's an endless roll of paper. Another 88A, once again, not a web note. A 1985, this one's beat, but you don't see a lot of 85s. A 1977A, and it's in decent shape. You can see the paper quality is pretty good on this. And then we've got a 1969C. That is the oldest note that I've found in the group. It's very rare for me to find notes from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s all in one find. So yeah, this was one of those days that I got them all. I guess you would call that filling the board when you're currency hunting, strap searching. And of course, you guys can see I've got something in a sleeve back there. This is a radar 04133140, and it's crisp. It was a very cool find. 2017 G note. You can see how crisp this particular one was. A radar note, or a palindrome, however you want to put it, reads the same forward and back. The easy way to spot these is see the 2 3s that are right in the center. Whenever you find the 4th and 5th numbers right here that are duplicated, that's the giveaway for me. That's what I target on to spot a radar. As soon as I see that, then I work my way out to see if that finishes the radar note. So that was my find for this week. So what did I bring out? Well, as I was saying when I started, I teamed up with Emmanuel's Workbench. Check him out. It's as an American collector, to see a Canadian collector going through boxes of Canadian quarters and dimes and pennies and, well, not pennies because they don't have pennies anymore, but to see a coin roll hunter go through boxes from another country is fascinating to me. When we go through boxes, we'll find 1 or 2 Canadian coins. He will find a handful of American coins, and it's just neat when all the focus is on the Canadian coins and it's, oh, there's another American. I really enjoy the humor in that, even though it's not supposed to be funny. I find it funny and I enjoy it. So Emmanuel's Workbench. He sent me an email and he wanted to start his currency collection. and he put in a little bit of a request, and I was able to find those notes for him, and I sent him those, and I sent him some good stuff. And what I wanted from him though was I wanted some Canadian currency. Like I said, when we coin roll hunt, or even when we just check our pocket change, we can find Canadian currency, or Canadian change, I should say, quite often. Especially when you go to cash out your change, because the Canadians get spit back out. But you cannot ever find Canadian currency circulating. No one is going to mistake Canadian currency for American currency and accept it. So I told him I would like to get some Canadian currency, and this is what I got. Um, we're going to start here. This is the Canadian $5 note. Now, one of the things you're going to notice immediately when you, if you ever hold a Canadian note, is they are not paper. Yes, our notes aren't paper either. Ours are cotton and linen, but these are a polymer. These are plastic. And one of the cool things about these is they have this clear window. I mean, that is just really cool. And you can see the imagery that they put on there, the holographic images that they put on there to make them anti-counterfeiting. Now, another thing you're going to notice, similar to American currency, are these little dots. Um, you'll find this on all modern currencies. There is a pattern in there. The pattern is essentially the way that Orion's belt is, which is 3 dots in a row. And I want to say that it's like this one, this one, and this one. I want to say it's a slightly upward pattern. It could be the opposite. It could be this one, this one, this one. But there are 3 dots, and the way that the pattern works is if a copy machine reads those 3 dots in that order, there's a code in the copy machine that says stop, to make sure that you don't try to photocopy these notes. It's a really cool anti-counterfeiting measure. Now, on 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, for American notes, they will have 05 for a $5 bill. They will have 20 for the $20 bill. And it's the order of those zeros and the positioning of those zeros. Like I said, that Orion's belt feature. And by putting in all these other zeros, it conceals what the actual pattern is. That's why they happen to do it that way. So anyway, $5 note. Here's the back. That is cool. Having astronauts on there in the back like that. That is just a really neat thing. And once again, you can see all those zeros on the bottom that are camouflaging that particular pattern. You've got the hologram on the back. One other thing is, if I turn this just right, you can see it right here. On American notes, what they did for people who have poor vision is they took the digit, and in the lower corner here on an American note, they made it really big. Well, if you can't see, making it bigger doesn't make you see it any better. If you can't hear, I can yell as much as I want. If I yell louder, you still can't hear. It doesn't matter. But in Canada, what they did, I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there, they put in Braille the denomination, so you can feel the denomination. That's cool. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, this is a Canadian $5 note, and he also sent me the $10 note, and he sent me a couple variations of the 10. Once again, you're going to see the patterns on there like that. And like I said, just to see these notes and have them in person is just so cool, because you get to actually feel the note. And like I said, it's a really unique thing compared to handling American currency all the time. You can see the Braille there, obviously the clear window here. And yes, of course, there are serial numbers. By checking the serial, you can easily check serial numbers in Canada as well, looking for fancies. Then I've got, I believe this was the commemorative 10 that he showed, and it was, this is really interesting. You can see that there's a clear window up here as well. The hologram is just really neat. Another window there, checking the back. Foil on the feather like that, just so cool. And once again, you can see clearly the Braille on there. And then this was the commemorative, 1867 to 2017. And I believe this is the back of the note. I'm looking over here and seeing stuff. Oh, no, it's written each way. No, this would be the front because there's the serial numbers. And you can once again see the Braille. On this side, you can see the Braille real well. Right there. So yeah, I thought these were pretty cool. Once again, you get the holographic foil right over here. And he did send me a couple 20s as well. And there are two different images on the 20. This is the young head version, if I remember. You can see the laureate portrait. I think I heard it referred to it other times. And then we've got one here, which is quite similar. And if I turn it this way, you can see the back is the same. But if you check out the hologram, it's got a different image on it right there. So yeah, that was my first experience dealing with Canadian money. Like I said, it's very unusual to see polymer money like this. And once again, there is no $1 bill because there is no $1 bill in Canada. You can get a $1 coin, you can get a $2 coin. A $1 coin's a loonie, a $2 coin is a toonie. So the lowest denomination currency they have would be the 5. So once again, I want to thank Emmanuel for sending me this stuff. It's my first, well, it's not my first Canadian money because I do have the Devil's Head set that I put together, but it's my first modern Canadian money. So that was just extremely fascinating. So I will leave a link to Emmanuel's Workbench in the description. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments, and I'll talk to you guys next week.